Hi, my name is Heidi Lusler, and I am the owner and head chef of Berry Flour Bakery and Harvest Goods. I'll just tell you a little bit about my business story and then kind of show you around this back room over here, and then hit you up with my one of my big problems. So I started my business in 2017 as a cottage operation, and what that means is that I can cook in my home kitchen. The legislation has changed significantly thanks to several organizations that are really furthering food legislation in this state. Yay! And I've been able to expand my offerings quite a bit. It's a little bit of a long story, but we started with non-perishable items like cakes and pastries, cookies, and then started adding perishable items like cakes and cookies, and then added non-perishable things like jams, simple syrups, shrubs, dry tea, candies, all kinds of things. But the big thing that I wanted to focus on with my business was using local products and being a cog in the whole food system. So we didn't just have growers and consumers, but we also have users that go between those two things. As part of that mission, I try to work as tightly as I can with local farms, just gardeners, local food advocates, food insecurity groups. I do a lot of education, and then I am trying to put together a commercial kitchen so that I can serve as, I don't know what the right phrase is because I don't think these things exist anymore, but like a teeny tiny micro co-packer. So that's kind of what I'm here today to get your 2 cents on. And I'll just give you a quick little tour. And pardon the mess, I just baked some cookies. So that's a little flour everywhere, but I wanted to get this made. All right. So this is my home, and we live on like a 7-acre farm and grow just native crops and do a little bit of agroforestry in kind of a non-traditional agro way. But we live in a big metal pole barn, and part of our garage was unfinished. So after trying to hunt for a commercial kitchen so I could expand my business, we just decided it was smarter to just build our own. So I've been saving up money. I've gotten a few small grants, a couple loans, like a Kiva loan, and then just contributions from the community have been really outstanding. And then we've been, there's just multiple funding sources, including, us trying to fund this. It's been much more expensive than we had anticipated, of course. So this is kind of a dry room area where we're going to store some things. And then as we go in this door, I hope to show you around a little bit. It looks cluttered already, even though it's just barely started. So here we have like a hood and an area that we can cook and use a hot top for. So we'll be making syrups and things like that. I got a bigger hood than I needed for my purposes so that I could rent the kitchen out to other people who are interested in this type of venture. So one thing I do want to make clear is that I decided not to go with our county health and get permitted that way. I decided to do wholesale via the state, and there are a couple of different reasons for that. I did want to do wholesale because I also have a full-time job, and I figured that that was a better passive sort of income instead of opening a storefront or manning some booth in a shop or boutique or something like that. So wholesale allows me the opportunity to sell to grocery stores, bars, restaurants, cafes, things like that. And I feel fortunate that several businesses have already reached out to me and said, hey, can we sell your stuff? So wholesale is the best way for me to be able to fulfill that direction. The other reason for wholesale was the state has less rigid guidelines than our particular county does, and so that gave me a little bit of wiggle room. Like our ceilings here are 9 foot 8 inches, but the county wants 10 feet. So I couldn't build the kitchen in our building if we went with the county. And maybe they would have had some, flexibility with those kinds of things, but it just seemed the smarter direction to go for wholesale. So anyway, anybody who rents this kitchen can do anything under this type 1 hood, but they would have to be permitted by the state to be able to do that. So I have a couple of cool pieces of equipment. This one is a really tiny dehydrator, as like commercial dehydrators go. So this has 24 racks, and I can fill the whole thing up really quickly and overnight dry, bunches and bunches of flowers or fruits or whatnot. So I have one farmer who's really interested in working with me. She's a Korean farmer and grows hot peppers and things like that. So she hopes that she can get me her hot peppers. I can dehydrate them, grind them, and return the powder to her. So that's the kind of piece that I really want this kitchen to serve, is that, again, that processing piece. So she doesn't have to find a gigantic co-packer, or she doesn't have to invest in this kind of equipment herself. Another kind of excited about, and I have not totally dusted it and things like that, but this is a commercial vacuum packer. It's a little bit of a fun story, but I have this one, and so if I do powders and things like that, another thing I'll hopefully do is fruit purees, and then I can just vacuum pack it in this and put it in the freezer, or package it for another business to sell. So this one will be hopefully a great piece to the business for that co-packing part. Another one that I'm also super excited about for the co-packing part of the business is this. Can you guess what it is? No, I can't hear you anyway if you're watching the video. So this is it's called a destoner, and what you do is you just pour your fruit in here. It goes inside, the inside spins. It's like a giant tomato puree maker, and you put a basket inside of here, and the baskets have different sizes of screens, and they push the fruit up. There's like a roller inside. It presses the fruit, pushes the fruit and seeds up against the basket, and then the fruit goes in the middle, and then comes out one of the shoots. So this should save hours and hours of work. And my son and I we must have spent 60 hours in a week easily just cutting pawpaws, digging out the flesh, de-seeding them. And if you're gonna grow and you use these kind of non-traditional fruits, I guess, it's really hard to find equipment and just the human labor to get through these things and make puree. So I think that this machine will solve a time problem that we've had, and I hope that this can enable, again, me to work with local farmers. If they bring me all their extra peaches, I can dump them in here. If they bring me their plums, I can dump them in here, and then I can provide another product to local businesses also who are interested in just getting the pulp, or working with parts of the fruit. I'm also going to try to sell some of the, don't say this, they'll be called infusion pulps, but like the waste products from this particular machine. So for example, when I de-seed black raspberries, Jeff, the stuff that's left is mostly seeds, but it's also really concentrated fruit. So there's a little bit of pulp left, but you've taken all the water out when you've juiced it. And so those, I have put those in vodka and made infusions and things like that. So I think that's kind of a trend right now, and I'm hoping that those, that piece can also be used as a sales avenue. So I'm hoping that this machine, really changes things. It was a struggle when I was just exasperated with how long it was taking me to, process some of these fruits myself. Um, I just searched and searched and searched and searched and searched, and everything is like, cottage is way down here, or having a small business is way down here, and then the next step is like an $80,000 machine with a whole warehouse that you need to house it. So I was fortunate to find this. It's an Italian machine just for small farmers in Italy. So I had it shipped over here, and it's perfect size for my little kitchen, and I'm hoping that it, really changes that processing piece. Yeah, so I guess, I'll just, I don't know what else, there's not much else to show you in here. There's a big mixer, and I'm getting that fixed, and a big triple sink, and, oh sorry, there are dishes. Yay! There's a huge processing produce sink. So we have full of elderflowers right now that we're going to put in the dehydrator and work with those. And I have buckets full of milkweed and a few black currants and things like that need to be processed. Here's the mixer awaiting a part. And then we have a back room with all the freezers and coolers and things like that. So I'm really excited to get started, but a couple of things, but all the equipment's here and we're ready to work. So my big problem that I would like to ask for assistance with is that my vision is that I would like farmers or gardeners or whatnot to come to me and either sell me their produce so that I can process it for my business, or bring their produce to me so I can process it for them on kind of like a service, or I can also process things, put it in a jar or package, label it with their label, and give them back their own product. So those are three kind of co-packer type of services that seem to be pretty, typical, but the scale that I need to do this on is so small that I don't really find that there's a good model out there that I can, work with. So I think I'd just like to get your 2 cents on what you think, how should that work? How should that flow? Should people, just I have a little scale set up outside, and so I hope that people can just bring me their, food and put it in the scale, weigh it. We'll have some kind of, numbering system so that I can tell what produce came from where, keep that transparency for sourcing going. And just kind of like how do we best come up with a pricing scheme and, different services that will support the small farmer and not the giant organization or giant farm that wants a huge amount co-packed. My thoughts, I've found a small tea co-packer in the south of the United States, and they have a decent model, I think, that could work for what I'm thinking of doing, kind of like a major service fee and then like an hourly charge for how long it takes to actually process certain things. So some things are going to be super fast, like plums. I can literally just pour them in this machine and boom, they'll be spit out and destoned and peeled and ready to go. But some things are going to take a little bit longer, like pawpaws. And probably the peppers. Those were going to require some hand labor in terms of cutting stems and making sure seeds aren't in those and things like that. So, yeah, I am just curious, like how you might advise me as a really small business to go about this. The other thing that I've kind of struggled with is just the rules for food the idea of a co-packer is just this gigantic facility to me, and the smallest thing that I've come across that I could do was something like 5,000 cases. And I don't want to have those kind of limits. I really want to support the small farmer who can't reach those kinds of heights with their farms. But I don't know if there are laws regulating what a co-packer is and isn't. I don't know if I can call myself a co-packer, if there are other terms for that. I don't know about things like GAP certification, if I have to worry about that. So this is the first piece of this kitchen will be just to open and get products out there. But then the second piece that's going to come in is going to be this co-packing piece. So any advice you could give me would be wonderful. All right, thank you.